The time has come for double dry hopped Congress Street from Trillium. Congress Street has become my favorite IPA, probably my favorite kind of regularly available IPA, and they haven't done the double dry hop version since it's been like 9 months or something. I heard they were gonna do it and then they didn't do that. They did Galaxy Cutting Tiles instead this past summer, and Galaxy Cutting Tiles is one of my favorites. But finally this came out, their Galaxy featured IPA, just like all the other streets, but this one double dry hops it with the Galaxy hop. And it just came out today. I got a growler of it in addition to some cans because their growlers are always super high quality. Seems like they sometimes have better head retention carbonation than the cans. So I was like, oh, let's get a growler and some cans because I want to enjoy this beer thoroughly. If you want to learn about the street IPAs at Trillium, just go check online. This was sitting in my trunk for a while and it's really cold, so hopefully it's not too cold to really get a lot of the tasting notes at this point. And it smelled awesome at Trillium today when I was there, and I got my new weird glass here. And yeah, it might be a little bit cold, not getting a huge amount of head, but I think this glass is pretty cool, and I'm already smelling so much, and it's pretty darn hazy. Oh yes. Oh, it smells, yeah, so much like orange juice and passion fruit and pineapple and mango. I'm starting to get a little tired of some like one hop focused IPAs because I figured out a lot of hops, but Galaxy is a complex enough hop on its own to be really great. I mean, they also use Columbus in their street IPAs, which I think adds a very nice sort of bitter grapefruit sort of thing to it also, but whew, that's really nice, and it's not overly green and dank or anything like that, but really strong, sweet citrus and tropical fruit, stone fruit flavors. It's peachy. It's got all that going on, even though it might be a little too cold right now to really get the full effect, but it's a huge aroma. They did a really good job dry hopping this beer. We'll see how the taste is. Whew. That hits you. Woo. Really grainy, getting a lot of grainy texture, and quite bitter. But it feels a little bit chalky on the mouth probably because it's like really fresh and they double dry hopped the crap out of it. And then it fades pretty nicely. It fades away to a really, really sweet tropical flavor. I'm not getting much bitterness lingering after that first sip. That was just one sip though, but this is an explosive beer. It's got the punch of, you know, a double IPA. It's 7.2, so it's pretty strong for an IPA. It's pretty phenomenal. Pretty full, thick mouthfeel, and then, it's a little bit too grainy maybe on the tongue. I mean, it's a lot. It reminds me of some of their other really in-your-face double IPAs they've been doing recently. This one, yeah, might even need some time for it to settle down a little bit. But the flavor and the aroma are just spot on, and I'm not getting any weird vegetable flavors or anything like I do sometimes. Whew. But on my tongue, it's just pretty chalky, pretty textured. It's not quite like a huge alpha acid presence sort of a bitterness and texture. It's clearly from all the hop sediment and everything. It's not like a tongue numbing like West Coast IPA bitterness feel on the tongue. It fades away after a little while of, you know, rubbing my tongue around on the roof of my mouth. It goes away, and there isn't too much actual lingering IBU bitterness, I would say, but there's a perceived bitterness from all of that hop sediment, not sediment, but just particles and everything hanging out in there, and the proteins from the malt too, probably. That smell is very good. And I love how thick it is, and it's not burning so much in the back of the throat. And there's just a teeny bit of heat I'm noticing right now, and it's got a little bit of a ring of head around there, but I think it was a little bit too cold. But it's still like intense for being, you know, really, really cold. This is probably finally now getting above freezing or something, because, you know, alcoholic beverages can get below freezing without actually getting frozen, because the alcohol doesn't freeze. Alcohol freezes at like a really low temperature. I'm not quite sure exactly what it is. Well, this is just the juiciest, one of the juiciest things I've ever had. But then it has a lot of nice bittering texture, but then it doesn't finish with too much bitterness and doesn't burn my throat so much like I've noticed with some other Trillium's like hot pack double IPAs. Yeah, I love the IPA, just the regular IPAs in this level. I don't want them to be so big, so sweet, so bitter. This might, I hate to say it, but yeah, it might feel a little bitter. It might have less of that chalkiness if it sits for a little while. So I'm glad that I got some other cans and I can just experience it out of the growler in full force right now. But the chalkiness is a little much. That's the only problem I have with this. Otherwise, the lingering feel and bitterness is not overwhelming. It's so fruity, so fruit forward. It packs a little more punch than some of their hop powder, lupulin powder IPAs. It definitely has a little bit more of a savory herbal quality, but it's not quite onion, garlic, vegetable, any of that kind of weird stuff that sometimes I'm not really enjoying. It's only a slight savory woodiness that I wouldn't even necessarily call it woodiness or sappy. It's just a nice drying bite to it that kind of combines with that texture to cut through all of the fruitiness and the sweetness on the tongue, but then it fades back into the sweetness and the fruitiness. And the aroma is just phenomenal. Well, I don't know if it necessarily beats some of their other ones. Like Galaxy Cutting Towers is a little bit softer. You know, that one has honey in it. This one's just a traditional sort of IPA recipe. But the lingering flavor is just really great. Yeah, at first I was afraid that the chalkiness and the intense texture of that would be a little harsh in the finish, but the finish is fine. My throat, everything is doing pretty good. So I mean, I give this beer a really high rating. It's great. 95 bags of popcorn. They did not mess this one up, but they've done it before, and they know what they're doing with this beer, it seems. And those are the ones that they have the best consistency and the best overall experience with. So yeah, I don't know, whatever, 95 bags of popcorn, 92.38 repeating. It's worth trying to trade for this one. Basically, it is intense and hits you hard, but then that hard hitting doesn't linger and make it unpalatable in the long run. So that's it. Goodbye.